If you still think cholesterol is the villain, you've been lied to. And honestly, that lie has been repeated for so long that even smart, health conscious women have started to believe it. We've been told to fear butter, eggs, and steak like they're out to clog our arteries and destroy our hearts. But here's the twist: cholesterol isn't the bad guy. In fact, cholesterol is your body's repairman, your hormone builder, and your brain's best friend. The real troublemaker, the sneaky little saboteur behind the scenes, is glucose. More specifically, chronically high blood sugar that silently creates damage that your body then scrambles to fix. So today we're cutting through decades of misinformation and getting to the truth about cholesterol, glucose, and what's actually driving heart disease and metabolic chaos, especially for women over 50. Now let's rewind the clock a bit. Back in the 1950s, a researcher named Ansel Keys ran what's now known as the 7-country study. He claimed that nations eating more fat had higher rates of heart disease. The problem? He cherry-picked the data to fit the story and ignored countries that didn't match his theory. But the damage was done. Fat became the enemy, cholesterol was labeled toxic, and the food industry ran with it. Low-fat everything flooded the shelves. Low-fat yogurt, low-fat cookies, low-fat cereal. But guess what they replaced the fat with? Sugar and refined carbs. And over the next few decades, heart disease didn't go down, it skyrocketed. Now, it's worth noting why that study landed when it did. It came on the heels of the Industrial Revolution, when our food supply was shifting from fresh, local, and seasonal to industrialized, processed, and shelf-stable. Machinery, large-scale canning, and pasteurization methods all promised convenience and longer shelf life. And in many ways, it was a noble attempt to solve the food shortages and feed a growing population. But it came at a cost. The quality of our food declined dramatically in the name of efficiency, preservation, and profit. And those changes set off a ripple effect that we're still feeling today. Skyrocketing diabetes rates, obesity, and inflammation-based disease, which encompasses 80 to 85% of chronic and degenerative disease. That statistic is shocking. And right in the middle of it all, women, especially over 50, we're told to eat heart-healthy grains while avoiding butter, bacon, and eggs. Sound familiar? Fast forward to today, and many doctors still look at your total cholesterol and panic if it's over 200. They'll tell you to cut fat, eat more fiber, and maybe even put you on a statin, without ever asking about your triglycerides, your fasting insulin, or your glucose levels. But here's what no one told you. Total cholesterol by itself is one of the worst predictors of heart disease risk. It's like judging a book by the number of pages. It doesn't tell you the story. The truth is, cholesterol is not your enemy. It's your body's way of protecting itself. Every single cell in your body uses cholesterol to function properly. It gives your cell membrane structure and flexibility. It's what your body uses to make hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, and testosterone, all of which are essential for mood, metabolism, and vitality. Now let's talk about what happens after menopause, because this for us over 50 is crucial. When estrogen levels drop, your body actually needs more cholesterol to help balance and repair hormone production. That's one reason that women in their 50s and 60s often see their cholesterol go up, not because their bodies are failing them, but because they're adapting. And yet, that's when most women get scared into taking statins, which can sometimes lower cholesterol too much. When that happens, women often notice brain fog, fatigue, joint pain, and even mood changes. Because here's the deal: cholesterol is also vital for brain health. Your brain is nearly 60% fat, and it relies on cholesterol to build and repair neural connections. So if you've ever felt mentally slower or emotionally flat after being told to cut fat or take a statin, that might be why. Your body isn't malfunctioning, it's missing raw materials. So if cholesterol isn't the villain, what is? Enter glucose, the real troublemaker. Glucose, or blood sugar, is essential in small amounts. Your brain and your muscles use it for quick energy. But when it's chronically high, when you're spiking your blood sugar with snacks, lattes, cereals, and those so-called healthy granola bars, it becomes inflammatory and damaging. Think of glucose like sticky syrup in your bloodstream. When it's high all the time, it attaches to proteins in your blood and forms these stiff, dysfunctional molecules called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs literally make you age. They stiffen your arteries, wrinkle your skin, and damage your nerves. But here's the kicker. That same damage inside your blood vessels attracts cholesterol. Cholesterol doesn't just randomly clog arteries. It shows up to repair damage. It's the body's patch kit. But if the glucose damage never stops, cholesterol keeps showing up, trying to fix what's broken, and eventually that buildup becomes a problem. Let's look at it another way. Imagine your blood vessels are like smooth Teflon pans. When your glucose is balanced, these vessels are slick and healthy. But when glucose spikes repeatedly, the vessel walls start to get nicked and sticky, more like Velcro. Now, cholesterol shows up to patch those sticky spots. If the inflammation keeps happening, layer after layer gets added. That's when plaque forms. So cholesterol, it isn't the cause. It's the response to the damage. The real culprit behind that damage is chronic inflammation. And the biggest source of that inflammation is unstable blood sugar. Let's talk about how glucose and cholesterol actually work together. When glucose stays high, your body releases more insulin to push that sugar into your cells. But over time, your cells stop listening. They become resistant to insulin, especially after years of carb-heavy eating, stress, and hormonal shifts. So your body pumps out even more insulin to get the job done. That excess insulin tells your liver to make more triglycerides, which are fat molecules circulating in your blood. Here's the pattern that follows. As triglycerides go up, your good HDL cholesterol goes down. The LDL you do have becomes smaller and denser, the type most likely to oxidize and stick to the vessel walls. So, in a nutshell, high glucose equals high insulin equals high triglycerides equals low HDL equals oxidized LDL equals inflammation equals plaque. That's the chain reaction that no one explains when they're busy blaming your omelet. So when you get your labs done, don't just look at your total cholesterol. Look at your ratios. The most telling marker for heart and metabolic health isn't your total cholesterol. It's your triglycerides to HDL ratio. Ideally, you want that under 2. If it's over 3, that's a red flag for insulin resistance. You can also ask your doctor to check your fasting insulin. That's one of the best indicators of metabolic health. And yet most people never get it tested. For women, a fasting insulin under 6 is ideal. Another useful marker is A1C, which gives a 3-month average of your blood sugar. And if you really want to know what's happening in your arteries, ask for a coronary calcium score. That's an actual scan showing if plaque is present, not just a guess based on your cholesterol number. I've seen women with cholesterol levels around 250 and calcium score of 0, meaning their arteries are clean as a whistle. Meanwhile, others with low cholesterol have high calcium scores because of inflammation and insulin resistance. See how the story changes when you actually look at the full picture? Let's take a quick pause. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and let me know in the comments if you've ever been told, cut out eggs or watch your cholesterol. Because I'm willing to bet that almost every woman watching has heard that at least once. Yet the science, it tells a very different story. So what can you do starting today to protect both your glucose and your cholesterol naturally, without fear and without falling into diet extremes? First, ditch the seed oils. They're highly inflammatory and oxidize easily when heated, which means every time you eat something fried in canola, soybean, or sunflower, you're literally creating oxidized LDL, the kind that causes the trouble. Second, cut the sugar and processed carbs. That means those things that call your name at night after a long day. Crackers, cookies, chips, bread, pasta, you know the ones I'm talking about. I know it's easier said than done, but start small. Skip the flavored yogurt and swap that afternoon snack for something with protein and fat. Here's a little side note. If you just rolled your eyes and thought, or maybe even said out loud, but I never crave protein or fat, maybe you even feel repulsed by it. My friend, that's your carb addiction talking. When carbs are your main source of fuel, your body will crave more sugar and reject the fat and protein that it actually needs. Speaking of fat, don't fear it. Butter, eggs, beef, fatty fish, hard cheeses, and if you lean towards keto, adding olive oil, avocado are a vast improvement. Your hormones, brain, and metabolism thrive on healthy fats. Next, eat your protein and fat first at meals. It helps to slow digestion, steadies your glucose, and keeps you satisfied longer. Small habit change, huge impact. And let's not forget about movement. You don't need a gym membership or an hour-long workout. Even a 10-minute walk after a meal helps your muscles soak up glucose before it becomes a problem. Think of it as your blood sugar walk. Now, add sleep and stress management into the mix too, because cortisol, your stress hormone, raises blood sugar, just like sugar does. If you're constantly in fight or flight mode, your body can't stabilize glucose or burn fat efficiently. Prioritize deep sleep and sprinkle in small daily moments of calm. That's where the metabolism resets. Let's zoom out and reframe the big picture. Cholesterol is not your enemy. Glucose dysregulation and inflammation are. The more we stabilize blood sugar, the better our cholesterol numbers become naturally. You don't fix your health by lowering cholesterol. You fix it by lowering inflammation and balancing your insulin response. The body isn't broken, it's brilliant. It's been trying to protect you all along. Cholesterol shows up to repair the damage caused by sugar spikes, stress, and inflammation. Once you stop the damage, your body doesn't need as many patches. That's when your labs start to improve. Your energy increases, your mood stabilizes, and that brain fog will begin to lift. So the next time someone tells you cholesterol is the villain, you can smile and say, actually, it's the sugar spikes that you should be worried about. Knowledge is power. And when you understand how your body really works, you can make decisions based on the truth, not fear. So if this video has helped you connect the dots, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who's still afraid of eggs, bacon, and steak, because I promise you, their heart will thank you later. My suggestion? Pay the butcher now, avoid paying the doctor or Big Pharma later. And as always, be good to yourself, be good to others, and keep loving life over 50.